Okay, my name is Betty, and I need to know, so start out by telling me what is your name,
My name is Otis Bingemer.
Bingemer, and where were you from? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Henderson County, a little community called Cairo,
Cairo, Kentucky. Okay.
Cairo, Kentucky.
So where'd you go to high school?
Cairo.
Okay. When did you join the military?
I was drafted in 43.
43?
Yeah, went overseas in 44.
Which service? Which branch of the service?
I was in the Army in the tank division. Actually a tank battalion, a separate battalion. We joined the infantry wherever they needed, backup.
And where did you serve?
In France and Germany.
France and Germany. So tell me a little bit about what you experienced.
Well, I was pretty lucky. I started out as a tank driver in Texas, got a training in Texas, and I was in C Company, and the headquarters company, Clerk, after about 6 weeks, he had some kind of a disability, and they had to discharge him, and they came down and asked if anybody could type. I held in my hand, I could type, and they said, would you like to work down the battalion headquarters? I certainly would, get out of that tank. So I went down there, and soon they asked me if I wanted to be a company clerk, so they sent me up to Fort Knox to clerical school, and then I came back and became a headquarters company clerk. So I was pretty lucky in that respect.
That's true. When you were in a tank, how many men would be inside the tank?
5.
And what would the temperature be like?
Depending on where you were. It wasn't air conditioned.
Was it comfortable, was it?
No, it was anywhere from 120 to, I guess in the wintertime, I don't really know, but it was cold, and I know that. Wherever you were, whatever the outside temperature was, if the sun was shining, you had 10 degrees.
Okay, so you served in France.
Mm-hmm.
What experiences do you have from France?
Well, some of the experiences I had, the funny experiences I had was before I got overseas, loading on the boat out of New York, we went to England first for 3 months of training before we went to France. And I thought the funny experience was that we loaded on the ships. The ships had a entrance so that the light wouldn't shine out. It's sort of like a half-moon entrance. And I had on my dress uniform, an overcoat, a raincoat. I was carrying a rifle, a gas mask, and being a company clerk, I had a typewriter and a box full of records. And as I described before, this little entrance that we had to go through, I couldn't get through there. I had to undress to get into the ship. So I thought that was quite an experience. But before that happened, they were asking for the company clerk to come forward with all the records, and I was in the back of the group, and I was running up front. I had this box made to hold the records, and when I tripped, fell, and all the records fell out on the floor. So it was quite an experience getting on the ship.
Anything about Germany?
Yeah, one of your most...
Well, we landed 20 days after D-Day, and the beaches were clear, but you could still hear gunfire in the background. And a little town of St. Mary in Glees had a big Catholic church there with steeples on it, and one of our tank guys shot one of the steeples off because there was snipers up in there. He got reprimanded for that because they weren't supposed to destroy any, religious property, but they was shooting at us, so he shot back.
I understand that. So then when you came home...
After the war was over, there was, I don't know how many thousands of soldiers over, and they had very few ships to get us home, so we had to wait for quite a while. So I had quite an experience along the southern coast of France, Nice and Juan-le-Pen and those places. And they were looking for, at about the same time as that happened, lamination came out, and all the officers and civilian population, everybody that had that were working for the government had to have a new passport or new identification card. So they looking for a photographer and a fingerprinter. Well, I wasn't a photographer, but I volunteered for the fingerprinting. And so I got to try. They gave us the command car and all the gasoline we wanted and free meals any place we wanted to. So we traveled all through southern France and taking pictures and fingerprinting all the officers and nurses and civilian people, and it was quite an experience.
You got to see a lot of the country.
And then I came home about the middle of December of 45.
45, okay. And then what did you do occupation-wise?
Well, I had a job before I went in. Matter of fact, I worked for International Steel Company, and we made the first LST that was made here. And the funny thing about that was that they weren't sure how it was going to fit, so they completely assembled the bow section of the first LST. It was so big they couldn't get it down to the river, so they put it on two trailers, one trailer going forward, one trailer backing up, and they hauled the thing from Mary and Edgar Street all the way down the river, one truck pulling, one truck pushing.
Wow.
And we International Steel did a lot on the LSTs.
So you actually helped build the LSTs.
The first 3 months, yeah, I got a deferment because I was in government work. You know, we made all kinds of things for the Army and Navy, pontoon bridges and things like that.
Gotcha.
That's great.
We appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.